And Stain's been on a tear lately, too.
Absolutely. And what I'm interested to see is how Stain will possibly come back with. Well, he also has been playing the Shotos 2 recently, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's been playing. He's had a can, but he's kind of taking it more seriously recently. I don't see him using it for this set, but it's there if it's needed.
Yeah, but like you said, like we predicted, Captain Falcon comes out right away. I'm not remotely shocked by that decision, and we're not banning, we're not striking. Going straight to PS2. I think that is. Behold.
It's
a little bit of cold fingers from Stain, but
it's 80 degrees outside, but the temperature around here.
Yeah,
kind of
say
cool
go run a lap, man. You'll be good. I said just go run a lap. You'll be fine.
He'll get warmed up after second. Yeah. Like the tension of a set will warm you up over time. But it's interesting about this matchup is that like a lot of Captain Falcons kind of think that this matchup is losing for them. Because as we stated earlier, like Roy sometimes is Captain Falcon but with a sword, and so it can be pretty hard. And we've seen a lot of times where Fatality has played Jagan and Cola and kind of struggled against them. But these are two different players right here.
But again, they're both very high tempo players, and Stain already going for the I'm going to send a message type of stomp.
You got the sour spot on that. Probably would have won the meteor fit, but yeah, it's all about sending a message sometimes.
I mean, both of these players are just right now trying to absolutely nail each other down. I mean, you look at this, it looks like it's not impossible. The amount of pressure Stain is putting on you in these disadvantaged situations.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, and that was a good up B right there, like being to know that, like, hey, he has to recover this way, so like, I'm willing to wait to get it. So that was perfect execution right there. And right now, Stain's just like, he's showing why he's been hot recently.
Yeah, and one thing that I do want to point out is that, you know, he's not a schlubby Falcon from Georgia who's good. He's taken a set-off fatality a couple times.
Oh yeah,
pretty
like,
good.
You don't understand this about Stain if you're not from the state. He's a PR player. He's being a fatality. A couple nights ago at 4-4, he beat Scat, and he wasn't going Sephiroth. He was going Snake and Mega Man. So like, you know,
no easy games from him.
Yeah, and Stain is definitely getting better over time. Right now, he is in full control of this game right now. The thing about Captain Falcons too is that like Captain Falcon kind of needs to be able to edge guard, and you need to excel at that, get in those edge guards because sometimes this character can get out neutral.
But again, what have we been saying? The theme of tonight has been adaptation, adaptation, adaptation. And if Mark is able to adapt over the course of these next 4 games, or however many he extends it, this could be a totally different story.
Yeah, I mean, like with any first to 5, it's really just about adapting and being able to understand. Like it's not determined in the first couple of games. Like you have a lot to improve on. So you're staying, you're comfortable with your starting off at. Your mark, you're like, okay, that's just one game out of a whole set. They're about to go to Town and City, and it's kind of crazy because, like, you know, I was saying this earlier when Jonathan and Spike were on, like, they could easily have gone to stages that were beneficial for both of them, but they probably didn't want to because it'd be too beneficial for both of them. This stage is definitely beneficial for these characters. Roy, this is probably one of Roy's best stages, if not best stage. And Captain Falcon, I mean, outside of maybe Kalos, you could argue this is his best stage.
I mean, it's got to be a close bloodbath between Yoshi's and this stage, right?
I mean, yeah.
Like,
you know, if he gets on these platforms and that last platform, is
oh boy,
like, yeah, it can be. Oh, I love, you know, that was a really risky up B, but honestly, it's one of those things that's like, if your opponent's not respecting it and they're drifting it out and not prepared for it, and then like. It's a really good attempt.
Now look, like we said, this doesn't. It's still close. If you're a high percent against a Roy with a stock lead, you got to bury him fast because any stray hit will send you flying, like right there.
Right now, Stain has been getting a lot of reads already on Money Mark, so I'm kind of interested to see like how this affects his mental state. Because like when someone's getting a lot of reads on you, it can definitely like it just feels like he's getting everything on me.
But again, what we saw is Mark is doing something similar to that Spike was doing, and he's kind of just tilting on shield a good bit.
Yeah, it's a good kill. Oh,
wow!
And that's twice now this game where like Stain went for something that's like really risky because you're basically giving up stage control, and it's not true or anything like. But it's like if your opponent's just like autopiloting, then you can catch them off guard and like
yeah.
At this point, like if I'm Money Mark, I'm definitely like, hey, if I'm off stage, I can't not think that Stain's not gonna go for something. Because
yeah, he's checking it right now. I mean, Stain is checking you, saying, "Are you aware that this is a burst option that I have?" And 2 for 2, he's gotten rewards by going for that risky burst.
You get the Jer right there, nice conversion. Little plays on the last stop, but Money Mark has quite a way to go in percent-wise, but Roy definitely can do this, so it's not over.
Oh yeah, I mean, right now it's certainly anyone's game at this point. If Mark can get that grab, could have led to a lot, and it might very well do that. But Mark is doing so good at just kind of taking calculated risks, like we've mentioned, and just unfortunately, Stain pulls it out. But he's got the Broncos hat on, so I think he's kind of hoping for a mile-high miracle at this point right now.
A lot of this is to me two things. One, Stain's getting a lot of reads on him. He knows what options he's gonna pick. And the other thing is like the experience of this matchup that you said earlier that Stain has, where he's played a lot friendlies with Spike. He's played against with Cole and Mugen. Like he definitely knows this matchup. So like I feel like those two things right now. But one of those, there's nothing Money Mark can do about Stain knowing this matchup. Like there's nothing you can do about that.
Yeah.
But he can do something about like, hey, if Stain knows I'm gonna get up right here, or I'm gonna roll right here, or I'm just not gonna do anything when I'm off stage, I can change that stuff.
Oh, I thought he was about to pull out the Lucas. I was about to be like, okay. like Money Mark is just going for the Lucas. But this is good. We, run it back. It was a close game. So what we can see is if Money Mark is able to just capitalize on this and just kind of keep pressure, but also wait for Stain to punish like your typical Roy options. Like we said, we play against certain players who play character reps for something that we know is common. So you don't want to fall into the habit that another player might be giving you.
I agree. Like you can't be worried about like something that like, oh, I think that this is what Captain Falcon would do because I played this Captain. Like no, every person's different. And also I did like that dare below the platform into a smash. It just doesn't work at that percent, but like that was a good idea.
Yeah, I mean the idea. Well, that's a big thing right now. It is, you have to go for the right idea and show that you at least have the knowledge base. Like, you may be losing your composure under pressure, but you have to at least fake it that, hey, I got an answer for that.
I like that up B early too by Money Mark. Like,
yeah.
He was like, okay, I'm not gonna go like grab for ledge. I'm gonna go off the platform. He didn't get blamed for it, and then he ended up getting the back air on stage. So, very good stuff.
And I like the mix-up with the dancing blade going up. Not a lot of Roys like to go for that option and try and extend their advantage off it. They like to just go for the quick, maybe a down tilt, the down angled version at a lower percent, or even just finishing with, your normal flourish of the regular side beat. But we can't count Stain out. I mean, this man he plays like a man possessed when he gets a lead.
Yeah, I see that. Ooh, the raw knee, like. That was really unfortunate with Money Mark trying to up B early, and Stain finally caught on to that. Like, okay, you're going to up B early.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna...
And that is something that we have to take into account here, that Mark is kind of going for options. It's like a hybrid style of Cola and Spike. He's aggressive as Spike, but he's going for these kind of deterring options like the Blazer at the ledge, like Cola does.
Yeah, like, I like his style. I think more it's just a lot having to do with someone who's just so experienced at this. And like what we were saying with the last set with Spickles and Tori, like Money Mark is kind of still like new to our offline scene. And like Stain's been in this position, you know, so like one of those things that experience really matters because like you made it to the top 32, but now like it's time to show like who's gonna come out on top. It's like a lot of times the more experienced player just knows what they're doing.
But even in that situation, to make it this close consistently versus a player of Stain's caliber, it just it shows that Mark may be new to the scene, but he is not a fluke by any chance.
Oh, definitely. He's one of our like future like high level players. Honestly, like you really love to see it, man. We already, well, you don't love to see that with the SD right there.
So we're gonna run it back again, Town and City. Do you think do we know if Mark has any secondaries?
Man, the only character I ever seen him play is Roy, but
yeah, that's true.
He might be thinking.
We're losing the Broncos hat.
Honestly, like you have to kind of take, like, you know, you're playing a PR player. Like a lot of times it's not you. It's just more like they're really good, and some, you know, like sure Money Mark can make some adjustments, but like Stain's been playing it like really well too.
Yeah, and you have to take into account as well that Stain isn't just playing Roy, he's playing you. We've mentioned this a couple times throughout the course of the stream, where if your opponent is able to get a bead on what you like as a player, then what you can see is how Stain is processing information at a rapid pace.
This whole set was shown just, I don't know if you saw the start of this game, but the start of this game, Stain literally ran up and grabbed Money Mark, and Money Mark just like dashed back. And I was like, man, that shows how like who's really good, because like that's not nuts. If this was game one, you would never see that from any player really, because like, but right now Stain has a lot of confidence going for him, where like Money Mark might be shrinking right now because a lot of things just aren't going his way.
Well, I mean, it could be a streak, but what I do see from Money Mark are glimmers of the right idea. Like we said, like I mentioned earlier, it might not be a bluff if it looks like it's the right idea. He might be bluffing that, hey, I don't really know the exact option to punish your habit, but there we go, jab back air, consistent.
And that was a good parry too, in order to get that jab.
And
yeah, he keeps rolling in too, and Stain's calling them out for those rolls.
Yeah, and here's the thing, you cannot read in these situations. Even though you're up 3-0 in the set, you know, look, I've worked for I worked for the Sixers. They stunk. My wife likes the Falcons. 28-3 isn't a meme for a reason. You don't take your foot off the gas if you're Stain.
Yeah, and we talked about this earlier when the tourney first started. That like the thing about first to five is like players sometimes can be fatigued and they start being lazy about what they're doing. And like Stain, he still got his foot on the pedal.
Yeah, and right now we just see that he's still knowledge checking Money Mark with these Falcon kicks. It's been very aggressive where he's been using either the Falcon dive or the Falcon kick to kind of knowledge check Mark and say, again, how are you going to land?
Yeah, I agree. And one of the things we didn't say is that I have no idea. Oh, yeah. And see, that's one of those things where we were saying where like Stain has been showing like he's really aggressive. He's gonna go for his stuff off stage. And he can't be last daisical off stage. And Money Mark keeps, you know, thinking like, oh, he wants to do this, and then he gets surprised.
Well, again, this ties back to in the best of 5 set, you cannot be lazy. You have to take every game and every stock of information and use it to the fullest. Now, Street, there is a chance that Mark can run this back 5-0 and totally reverse the tables. What would you need to see from Mark in this game to instill that confidence in you?
Well, the first thing is that like I take it one game at a time and not really look at it that you're down 4-0. Like every game is a new game. So like you can only worry about the game that you're at presently. And so like, you know, we're going to FD, and honestly I actually don't mind this pick because the thing about it, Captain Falcon probably doesn't do as good as the stage as Roy could do. This is probably one of maybe Captain Falcon's worst stages, honestly. So I do like the pick, but you you know, again, like when you're off stage against Captain Falcon, you definitely have to mix up what you're doing, and unfortunately, that hasn't happened yet for Willie Mark, where like he's been edge guarded quite a few times during this set.
Yeah, and one thing that we're seeing right now is that Stain is just more so calling out, I wouldn't call them aggressive options, more so desperation options from Mark, because he knows he's down. As I say that, he takes out Stain with a very clean back air.
Well,
Stain,
the other thing is too is that like, ooh, called out that roll with the smash. The thing is that when you see Fatality play against Cola or Mugen, like the difference is that Mugen and Cola, they go off stage and deal with Captain Falcon as well, where Raymart really hasn't really done that. Like he hasn't been as aggressive as Stain has been when he's off stage, so now he's just relying on neutral, which he's done really well. We see him get like Jared convergence and all that, but again, Stain's doing that and playing off stage.
I mean, the lethality that Stain has with his Nair 1 conversions are just out of this world. And again, right there, that was a perfect situation for Mark to go out and contest Stain. But I think when it's the last stock of your tournament life, they're a little bit afraid.
Well, nerves are kicking in if they already have it, but you know. Yeah.
Twice Stain has nailed that combo. And with that, Stain breaks down the door and marches his way to round 2. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen,